So we're here today in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in New Orleans, City Union Waste workers. We're saying that this company has to go. It's owned by True Blue, and it has 600 offices around the country. True Blue, and basically they're in the business of exploiting workers. They're in the business of union busting. 50% of the construction in Oakland, California is non-union. What does that mean? That means these workers who are on these construction sites in Oakland don't have basic human rights. They can be terminated for raising health and safety issues. And we say it has to be union labor. Unions should have 100% unions, like the Longshore do in the Bay Area. We need to have 100% unionization, and against contracting out and outsourcing. So, my name is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with the Committee to Stop Systemic Police Terrorism and Systemic Racism.
My name is Trent Willis, here from the International Longshore Warehouse Union, Local 10. I'm the president, and we're here because we also have issues with our employers, which we are a strong union, and we're still fighting every day for our employers to provide the proper PPEs and the proper safety for our members, especially when it pertains to COVID-19. It's been a constant battle. We also understand that we need to connect with our brothers and sisters across this country who have similar issues that we have. Our history, we've always supported workers all over the world. And companies like this that that dispatch out non-union labor across the city is one of the major problems here. All labor should be unionized labor. Okay? And the reason that is because when it comes time to have the fight with the employers, which is an ongoing fight, it's a constant struggle with the employers, any employers. Okay? And the only way to combat that, the employer's treachery, is to unionize and connect with brothers and sisters that are in the same boat you're in. Okay? So that's what the ILWU does, and we understand that we need to connect with the community and our fellow workers around the world to get these employers, who are often the same employers. You'll be shocked that an employer in New Zealand is the same employer that's employing people here in the United States. We have to connect all across the world, all across this planet. All workers have a lot of things in common that we need to fight for. And the ILWU, with our long and rich history, stands in the vanguard of that struggle. And we will continue to do that. That's why we're out here today, to support our brothers and sisters, the sanitation workers in New Orleans, and our brothers and sisters, our healthcare workers, who at this time, with this pandemic going on, I can't believe that our healthcare workers in this country are being disrespected to this level. Okay? If anybody should have the proper PPEs, it should be the brothers and sisters who are taking care of our sick, okay, and our disadvantaged and our poor. Okay? Just the simple fact that we have employers who won't provide the necessary safety equipment to healthcare workers should tell you where we're at in this country, and why we need to all get together and stand up for workers' rights in this country, whether you're unionized or not unionized. Okay? We in the ILWU are very fortunate, because back in the 1930s we started organizing, and now our members have what am I trying to say here? We're fortunate to have the conditions that we have, and we're fortunate to have a strong union where we can go and negotiate with the employers and get the PPEs and things that we need. Okay, other workers don't have a union to take advantage of like we do, and we need to understand that. We need to stand strong for our brothers and sisters, fellow workers across this country. It's an ongoing struggle. It's a class struggle, and the working class is a union. And we have to understand that we are already in a union. We just have to activate, get our stuff together, organize, and fight for what we need. Okay, if it's not obvious to workers by now that these employers don't have your best interest in mind, then you need to start doing some more studying. It has become clear that we can't depend on government officials, okay? We can't depend on current laws that have been passed in our favor. The employers don't care. The only thing they respond to is organized workers who are threatened to shut them down. Okay, we will talk to your members that are signed up here with Labor Ready, and we will get them to join us, and we will shut you down. Okay, so remember, the International Longshore Warehouse Union, we will continue to support all workers in the community around the world. We will continue to organize, and if they don't start respecting our brothers and sisters in New Orleans. Thank you.
My name's General Balcher, and I'm aware of what goes on with hoppers because I have a first-hand experience with hopping. In 1998, I was in New Orleans, and when I was in New Orleans, I worked as a hopper. And at that time, we only made $5.25. Of course, we didn't have no benefits, and all we got was gloves, and we wore our street clothes. And they would pick us up in a van and take us around to the dump, and then we get in the truck, and we hop all day long. You darting and hiding from cars and things like that. You don't even have a safety vest on. Now I'm with ILWU, I at least got a safety vest and some PPE, and this is in 2020, but that's a long time ago in New Orleans where the same things are still going on, that they're not giving us our rights as human beings. We need to be having things that are going to protect us in the workplace. It don't make no sense that no one has a safety vest provided to them. That doesn't make any sense that a safety vest can't be provided to you. You already cut the cost of giving us benefits. You already cut the cost of paying us proper wages. You can't give a safety vest, and you can't, that's why they're scared when you come together and you activate and you try to unionize and you keep on working towards unionizing, because then you'll have someone to represent you. Because before, if I didn't come to work and we would get $75 a day if you worked all week for 5 days straight. And if I missed one day, I wouldn't get that $75. They didn't care. They'd pay you that $5.25 an hour. And that's what it is. At least, I mean, the cost of living is a little different in Louisiana, but at the same time, they deserve respect. Respect in that people need to stand up and let their voices be heard.
This is something I want to touch on real quick about the healthcare system. As my president spoke on, it's a shame that the healthcare workers have to go through anything through this pandemic, because they have been in the forefront of this pandemic. They didn't go home and lay in bed and say, I didn't want to take the chance of catching COVID-19. They stood there and worked through it all, the healthcare workers. So personally, I know some people at Alameda County Healthcare, in Alameda County Healthcare Highland, and that is our trauma center. So I'm really speaking to the community here. It's not just about the workers right here, it's about you too. Highland Hospital is our trauma center. Any major accident, any gunshot victims, any kind of trauma whatsoever, our loved ones has to go to Highland Hospital because they have the best health care, physicians and nurses and doctors and social workers, everything in this Bay Area at Highland Hospital. Now, when they are on strike because they're being treated unfairly, what do you think happens to your loved ones that the Alameda County supervisors and the people that controls that hospital can easily fix this situation by granting them these reasonable demands that they are asking for? They fly in people from New Orleans and New York to try to run a hospital they know nothing about to take care of your loved ones at the trauma center. Imagine if they needed a trach or something emergency right then and there to save somebody's lives. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to run that hospital because they are not from here. So every day that our people are on strike, that lives here, that work that hospital every day, your loved ones are at risk because the people that's in there now do not know how the ins and out of that hospital to do what they need to do to save lives at our trauma center. So I'm saying that to the community. Y'all need to help with this fight as well to protect your loved ones that may be in that hospital or may possibly go to that hospital. That's all I wanted to touch on real quick.
In front of the offices, Oakland offices of People Ready, in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in New Orleans who are fighting for human rights, fighting for basic rights, and in fighting for $15 an hour because they were only making $10.25 an hour. We need to stop this union busting. We need to stop these attacks on working people. And our committee, the Committee Against Police Terrorism and Systemic Racism, has initiated this, and this is an example of systemic racism because they exploit black, brown people, poor people, and put them in a situation where they have no union rights, no workers' rights, no dignity. And that was what was happening and is happening in New Orleans and many other cities. And the contracting out that's going on here in New Orleans is not just in New Orleans. Right here in Oakland today, there's a strike of the Alameda Health System. And one of the issues is they contracted out the Alameda County Supervisors. The Democrats in the Alameda County Supervisors the Democrats have outsourced the operation of the Alameda Health System to a company called AHS, and they exploit workers. They're contracting out workers, firing workers. When workers say that they need health and safety PPE, they get terminated for making health and safety complaints. So this is an example of union busting. It's an example of attack on basic human rights. Workers have a right to a health and safety environment, and that's what's being attacked here. So we're here today in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in New Orleans. Victory to the city union waste workers. And we're saying that this company has to go. It's owned by True Blue, and it has 600 offices around the country. True Blue, and basically they're in the business of exploiting workers. They're in the business of union busting. 50% of the construction in Oakland, California is non-union. What does that mean? That means these workers who are on these construction sites in Oakland don't have basic human rights. They can be terminated for raising health and safety issues. And we say it has to be union labor. The unions should have 100% unions, like the Longshore do in the Bay Area. We need to have 100% unionization, and against contracting out and outsourcing. So, my name is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with the Committee to Stop Systemic Police Terrorism and Systemic Racism. And our next speaker is Trent Willis. He's president of ILWU Local 10. Welcome.
All right, brothers and sisters, and just to wrap this up, it's very ironic that we're standing in front of this building right here that Labor Ready operates inside of this building, because this building used to be, as my brothers that are from Oakland know, this used to be a trauma center. Right here, this building used to be a trauma center where critically wounded people, citizens of Oakland, used to come to get medical care. Okay, and it's ironic now that this building now is where Labor Ready operates here to promote non-union labor. Now, back in the 1930s, when the longshore workers decided and got tired of being treated like trash, we organized for the same reasons, and members of the community fought and died for us to have the right to a unified safety code, to a contract, and a union hall. Okay, as far as the ILWU is concerned, all workers should have the right to a union hall, should have the right to fair wages, should have the right to safety on the job. Like my brother so eloquently put it, okay, our families are in danger when healthcare workers are in danger. Okay, when workers are in danger of contracting COVID-19, the whole community's in danger, because we as workers can take COVID-19 home and give it to our families. Okay, so if you're looking at that scenario realistically, family members getting COVID-19, being rushed to hospitals where hospital workers are not properly protected, then they take the disease home to their families. Okay? This profit-driven capitalist system does not care about workers. Okay? They care about profits. The only people that care about workers are the actual workers. This is why it's so important for us to band together as workers, not unions, not individual people, but as workers all across this country, right on, all across this country. And that's the only way we're going to make a difference. We have to stand up to the employers, and we have to stand up to the government, because the employers pay the government so they're allowed to keep treating us like trash. And the only thing stopping the employers from completely treating all workers in this country like trash are unions. Okay? So all workers in this country, we need to organize unions. Unions are down to 13% in this country, I believe it is, or maybe even less. 10% now. It goes down every year. The employers are always on the attack. They've been working against people organizing unions and threatening and bullying workers for too long now. And it's time for us to stand up against these employers, including the employers who employ the hospital workers. Okay, so we send our solidarity from the ILWU Local 10 to our brothers and sisters in New Orleans, sanitation workers. We understand your struggle. You're starting out the same way we started out in the 1930s. Stand strong, continue to fight, don't give up, and we're here to support you whenever you need us. ILWU Local 10. Thank you.
Solidarity.